Hi and welcome back to another video of jPlay. I am Marcus and I recently received my copy of Shiver Me Timbers, and yeah, I really couldn't hold on to this. I really wanted to give this one a try. So I went through the rules, I checked out some entries on BGG. It really seems the rules are okay. So I'm kind of cautiously optimistic that I've understood all the rules. Anyway, this will be a learning exercise for me. I have never played this game before, and there's also no solo mode, so I have to go through a two-player game, which causes some problems because some of the not really information, but some of, especially when you're going into combat, another player takes decision for NPCs, for example, and this is something that I have to play against myself. Maybe I will check out to see if I can randomize things a little bit. I did already randomize some things, at least those life goals. That's something that I've drawn randomly and then made some decisions upon those. So I will not let you know what one of the players is mainly doing. I will focus on only one where I will play, let's say, openly. But yeah, anyway, it's a 2 to 4 player game. There is a 5-player expansion for this game. It's looking absolutely gorgeous, and you will see that in a minute. And pirates for me always works. That was really why I was looking forward to this game here. And as usual, I will explain you the game as I go. Yeah, I will go through some of the components, maybe also share the most important point for a game, at least for me, that's understanding how you will score and how the game will end. The game will end when we have 3 of those life goals here in a 2-player game, and when the second to last, so pretty much 2 of those goals are taken, this will then trigger the end of the game. We are still completing the round, and then depending on what you scored, you will pretty much all score those wax seals here. Throughout the game you will have the opportunities to get a lot of more of those by taking out merchant ships or pirate hunters, fulfilling missions. Really a lot going on in this game. But ultimately you're playing for victory points. Also gold that you may have stashed into your treasure chest, for example, will score you some points. Also gold on your ship. That's a little bit different to merchants and marauders here. Everything counts. And yeah, basically who then has the most wax seals is the most nefarious pirate here in the open sea. And just like merchants and marauders, you don't have to be a pirate. You can, I guess, win this game as an honest merchant. At least that's how I understand it. In merchants and marauders, what's typically happening, if you're really more, I would say, experienced player, you typically start off as a merchant, and then halfway through the game you are then turning sideways, being a pirate, because then you already have achieved the 5 points you can get for trading, for example, for your money, that is. I should be very clear. And then typically at some point in time you will then shifting towards a pirate. Not every time when I play merchants and marauders I'm always a pirate. Yes, I do some trade missions every now and then, but I really start off as a pirate. But here I may play things a little bit differently. And here we have our 2 players. So here we have the blue player, we have the red player. It's a 2-player game, and according to the designer, this game plays totally nicely with just 2 players. I think the more the merrier, or the more chaos you get into the Caribbean. If you make more players out there, there is more player interactions, more fight, or player versus player combat. But I think we will see about that. Table space wise, and also in respect to keep the recording time as minimal as possible, I also decided to go with a 2-player game. But from what I heard, this game is not endless, just like Merchants and Marauders 2. And sorry for all the references to that game, but that's for me the go-to pirate game right now on the market. Not sure if this will be able to change that thing. So for me right now, Merchant Marauder is the top most piratey game out there. No questions asked here. But let's see how close this one will get. Or maybe, yeah, I don't know, maybe it will outrank it after a couple of sessions. So pretty sure I will not be able to judge that by just playing it once, because yeah, Merchant Lords, I really played my fair share of sessions on that. As I already mentioned, I have randomly assigned 1 secret life goal for each of the players. I will share the one for the blue player, so that will be the player that I will play openly for you. And there I basically chose or drew life goal number 1. And again, this is something that you put into your chest, and the other players don't necessarily know what your life goal is, and it's also not really game breaking. So if you will be able to meet that life goal at the end of the game, or you can prove that was my pick and was able to achieve that, you will simply score 5 bonus points for that. Again, it's not groundbreaking, it's just another way for you to get some extra points. But again, for blue, this was life goal number 1. And life goal number 1 is Eldorado. Hide 7,000 gold in your chest. You can do that anytime. I think during your turn or so, as a free action. I think you do these things during your turn without any real penalty. The problem is, or the only penalty that you do get out of this, everything that you stash into your treasure chest is lost until the end of the game. Also, big difference to merchants and marauders. In your home harbor, you can still pick stuff out. But here, what's there is there, but it's also safe, so no one can really mess with your treasure chest. And again, as soon as there are 7,000, you can show that and say, hey, I have done that. And being first here also comes with an extra reward. That's 10 points, whoever goes in first. All the other players take the 5 points here. And again, because that was the life goal, this could score us 15 points at the end of the game. And from what I understand, 15 points is not shabby at all. I will not share with you what the red player has chosen, quote unquote, or what I randomly drew for them. But I made some decisions in respect to their starting location and in respect to the starting talent marker here. So this might give you or give away what of those, or tell the other players what life goals you may be up to. Again, it's really not that big of a deal knowing what the other player's up to. Only if you really see a chance being first before another player grabs a life goal, then maybe, yes, this is something that you could in theory play out and say, okay, I want to be first, so getting the 10 points there. But apart from that, I don't think that's a real big deal. In La Juanita here, the blue player will start with 2 potions of sugar on their board, and that's something which is, I would say, very interesting, because when you look at your ship, you see these little wheels here, and depending on which color you see on each of those wheels, this tells you how many units of a specific product you have. In this case, the white stands for sugar, and we are starting with 2 sugar in La Juanita. The dark brown here simply means this piece of your hull is empty, and later on there is a chance to increase your hull when you spend some dollars there or some doubloons there. But yeah, ultimately it's very interesting. So you're not moving tokens around or whatnot. I'm not 100% sure if I like this or not. It's interesting. Its ships looks gorgeous again. Very, very nice. And the same is also true for your overall strength. So you're pretty much counting all the cannons on your ship, and you start with 1, 2, and 3 cannons. So you can never go below 1 of your strength. This will then help you when you are trying to take out merchants, for example, or other players. And the same is true for your speed, where you're counting those little skulls here, and this tells you how many speed the ship has. And yes, you can also upgrade and put in more sails here, for example. So we are also starting with 3 speed here. So let's place the blue player's ship on La Juanita, which is all the way up here. Yeah, this is where I start. I was using the, let's say, default setup for this map, but you see, I think here all of those are connected, similar to, or kind of similar to Star Trek Ascendancy. You're not exploring the map in this case. It's really what you do as part of setup. There's kind of a drafting, so the players can design the world map to their likings and depending on their, I would say, strategy, for example. And I think this is really a tactical strategic element of the game, building the map to your liking. But again, I will go with this preferred or default setup here. And here I'm not 100% sure if this map also counts for a 2-player game. It didn't say any otherwise, so I think I'm okay, but if not, maybe the map might be a little bit too big. But you're always playing with all of those islands, and you're also, I think, always use those big connectors here. I think only the amount of small connectors or so might be a little bit different depending on the player count, but I might be wrong. I only read it once, and yeah, for now it is what it is. If I'm playing this incorrectly, I guess it's also not a real big deal. Then we are coming back, or coming over to the red player. And again, I'm not telling you what life goal the red player chose, but maybe you get an idea. They will start with the ruffian. Maybe I should have showed you the talent of our blue player here. They will start with a haggler. They take 200 gold when taking a sell action. So yeah, I think that may make sense for someone who wants money for their life goal. But here we have the ruffian. When dueling, draw 5 cards and discard 1. And dueling sounds a little bit combat-y. What do you think? And they're also starting off at an island as the bay, where you can acquire crew cards. And I think crew cards might also help you in certain situations. So we are placing the red player on the bay, which is down here compared to the blue player who is up there. I'm not 100% sure if we will see a player versus player battle that soon. I think red may want to prepare. The same is true for blue before we are going after each other again. Blue may not have a very strong need going after another player. Of course, going after those merchants could give you some dollars, of course, but maybe we will see blue going for some more missions, for example. Could be an idea. Let's see about that. And because they started here in the bay, they will go, I think, with a cabin boy and a sellsword, if I remember correctly. And indeed, that's the case. So we have the daring cabin boy, which you can play for $0 here. Again, you have those cards in your hand. There is a hand size typically of 3 for those, and these are one-time use only. So you play them, you use the effect, and then you can reacquire them somewhere else. So yeah, they're kind of, I don't know, sacrificing themselves for you. I don't know. The daring cabin boy simply allows you, when you play them, take 1 resource of your choice, and you can take those actions pretty much any time. To some extent, I think you can do that before someone announces an action or after someone has announced an action. This can also be outside of your turn. Of course, taking resources outside of your turn typically doesn't make sense, but some of the other abilities definitely may, like the veteran sellsword here, which could give you 1 strength until the end of turn. So let's say you are being attacked and this is definitely not your turn. You can still play the veteran sellsword, pay the $100 here, or doubloons, and yeah, up your strength accordingly, which can be a huge deal. Or we can you may attack ships on islands this turn. Typically you are protected when you are on the island. So let's say I really want to go after the blue player, I could then play this card and say, okay, now I can still attack you. Isn't that lovely? I believe those cards are typically face down, but there's not a lot of different cards. It's not a small deck, don't get me wrong, but the amount of different cards is maybe 5 different crew types or so. So I don't know if it's really that secret, but typically you keep that hidden from the other players, as far as I understood. In this case, we know when you start at the bay that the red player will start with those cards, so no surprises here. And I think with that being said, we have more or less prepared everything that we needed to prepare. So we can simply move over to the first turn of the game. We will simply start with the blue player. And the only thing I will do now, still as kind of part of setup, is to give this event deck here, the wind deck, a cut so that we really know what's on top of this. So right now it's a 0 wind, but let's give it a cut, and this will be then, yeah, okay. So for this round, we have a speed of 2. As of the next round, we will take this card, turn it to the other side, and then we will have an event for the next round. And this is already an optional rule, but if you know me, I like chaos. So we want these events here for sure. And again, which means every player now has a move rating of +2 this round to the 3 they start the game with anyway. Then let's have a quick look at the actions that we have available here. We are taking 3 actions per turn, and you take all your actions and you're moving over to the next player. Similar to Merchants and Marauders here, and I'm not sure if Michal, the designer, is a big fan of Merchants and Marauders. Some things feel familiar, but in the end it's a pirate game, so yeah, I don't know. Some of these actions simply do make change. But again, it's the same thing. You get 3 actions here, you have to complete your turn, and then you're moving over to the next player, and this goes on until the game is over. For an action, you can move, and that's pretty much your current speed plus the wind, and this is the amount of spaces that you can move. Relatively simple here. In theory, you can move through, I believe, most of the space without taking any hits. Only if you choose to whatever scout for ships, bad stuff could happen. So there are merchants and there are pirate hunters, for example. We can upgrade our ship on any island, and we have to, there is an update price depending on the current level that you have. Each upgrade is one action. So let's say I want to upgrade my hull, then this is one action. If I can do that 3 times, then I have to spend the amount of dollars or doubloons, which I most likely won't have. And then, yeah, but this was then already my turn. But you can do that at every island. That's really important. There are no special islands really for these kind of things. Yeah, all the islands do different stuff, and there are nice little overviews that show you that, and I think I haven't put them out because they are hard to record for me. Maybe I will lay them next to them. Yeah, let me think about that. Then we can do trade actions. We can either sell or we can buy stuff. You can sell any amount of resources and you can buy any amount of resources, and the demand is and the supply is always the same on these islands, so there is no change unless there are event cards that might change that for a round. I don't know. And the prices are here too. So the buy price is always 100. Here we see, okay, we can buy, I think this is rum, Instant David for 100 gold. We can cocoa for 100 gold and sugar here at La Juanita. And that's the reason why we started with 2 sugar there, but there is no reason to buy stuff in La Juanita. This is not in demand here. Demand is only the blue one. So here I see if I would go to St. David, for example, I would be able to sell my 2 sugar for 800 quid. That's not too bad. We can hunt for treasure. We can scout for treasure cards on any island and travel to its location. So we can go for treasure cards. So this is literally meaning, okay, I'm asking around in taverns and whatnot if there are. So similar to the rumors in another game, which I'm not going to mention again here. And then, yeah, we can also, when we have found a treasure card, then we can pretty much go for the treasure hunt. That's then also an action on this side. We can hire crew or learn rituals. This depends on where you are. You can only hire crew on the bay, and you can go for rituals on Isla Obscura. Is this Oscura or Obscura? Oscura. And then we choose 1 card per action, and then, yeah, play when an action is declared. Yeah, then we can do this. We can acquire mission cards. This is only available on Port Royal, so we can go to the governor there and acquire a mission. Getting a mission is a negative tiebreaker, something to mention. And we can hunt monsters. There we need to first mate or call the Kraken rituals to go for it. So yes, there are these sea creatures there. I will put them out when we need there. We can go for boarding attacks. For example, I can attack any ship on your sea space, and there are 2 different kind of things that you can do. You can fire your cannon first to weaken that ship, or you can directly start boarding, and then we are doing a duel here. In order to really take over a ship, you have to board it. There is no other way. And we can also try to raid some fortresses, which are similar to attacking ships, but they are, yeah, obviously more powerful. Those are the standard actions you can do. Again, there are a lot of free actions which are typically related to those normal actions here, whatever, or stashing your gold and so on, but you can do this any amount of time during your turn. Wow, that was quite a long description of those actions, but I think now we will really start taking some actions here. See, again, blue is the starting player. Overall, we have a speed of 5. Keep in mind, we have 3 scouts on our sails plus the 2 from the wind card here, which is 5 movement points. So we can move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces here. But there is this ancient shipyard here, and if I stop my movement there, I would be allowed to roll the white die. And I believe the white die is, yeah, I think that's not too bad actually. I could gain some dollars, I could gain some equipment there. It's an ancient shipyard, right? And this is something where I'm maybe struggling a little bit, because it's now drifting from the real merchant and marauders, true piratey kind of thing, more towards Pirates of the Caribbean with sea monsters and everything. I haven't seen any zombie pirates yet, but yeah, it's kind of a mixture here. But here it's just okay enough for me actually, that I can say I can accept that. That's fine. There were a lot of whatever assumed sea monsters out there. So let's just assume those were real back then. And yeah, I think I want to go there. So we are moving 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. I can move over this merchant here, over this ship. I don't know if it's a merchant or a pirate hunter without any problems. If I'm not scouting for it, they won't scout for me. Unless, again, there might be event cards that say otherwise. And because I'm now here on this ancient shipyard, you see this little white dicey symbol up there. Yeah, I'm allowed to roll the white die now. And here I'm totally going for my piratey kind of dice tower. So let's roll the white die and let's see what happens. And of course it's a blank die result, so we are not getting anything. We could again gain 200 golds and some other stuff there, but yeah. I failed, but this was only one of my 3 actions. And maybe I was stupid. Maybe I should have acquired something before in La Juanita. I could have still went for one. I'm learning this game. Would you allow me to take a mulligan here? Because I should have bought something in La Juanita first. Because I can gain sugar there for 100 gold doubloons. So let's do that. So again, sorry for that. I will try to keep those at a minimum. But again, this means we have 3 sugar in our hold. So we are turning all those 3 wheels in here. And there are basically 4 colors. So one is empty, white is sugar, I think light brown is cocoa, and yellow is rum. And I think you will be able to spot that. I still have 2 more actions. So with my second action, I will move 1, 2, 3 space or 4 spaces here to St. David. And I guess I will do a sell action here because they want sugar, and that's the reason here. That's this blue hand here. This tells you gain some gold for that. And yeah, I'm definitely selling all 3 of my sugar there with 1 action. So you can sell any amount of goods at an island, and therefore I will score 1200 doubloons. So now I'm already a target for the red player, actually, because yeah, whatever I have on my ship, I have on my ship. Of course, I could take this money and shove it right into my treasure chest, and I may want to do that. So those were my 3 actions, but I can still decide to take that free action. At least that's how I understand it. But let's grab 1200 more quid, and here I'm really tempted. Maybe with 400, maybe. Let me make that one a little bit smaller. I want some cash money at hand, actually. But I still want, let's put 200 here into the treasure chest for now. Yeah, this is be a little bit. So I know I have some cash now in there, and I want to have 7,000, right? Okay, that was 500. Well, that's not too bad. And we have 900 still in our, let's call it, back pocket. Nice. But those were all of our actions. Again, this free action to stash this one was free. As it says, I don't have any more actions left. So we are moving over to the red player. And as I want to try different things in this game, I think he will not immediately go after the other player with 300. Can I upgrade something already? No, I can't, because all of my ship parts are at level 3, and moving to level 4 would require 400 bucks. It's basically always the level you're moving into that you have to pay that amount of doubloons multiplied by 100. So going to 4 in any of those levels would cost me 400. I only have 300. So I could scout for treasures, which is this one here. So I would draw 3 of those cards and pick one of those. This is hidden. I could go for yet another crew, and maybe that's something worth considering. Going for treasure is kind of a problem because you need strength in order to move ahead, and with only 3, I'm not sure how long this will take. It's a cool mechanic, but maybe I really should try going for one of those merchants here first. I mean, I'm a pirate after all. I need some quick cash. That much is clear, but I have this daring cabin boy with me, and the daring cabin boy could also help me on the treasure hunt. So yeah, I think let's go and scout for some treasure. Again, I want to pick up some rumors about treasures, so I'm asking around in the taverns here. So I would draw 3 of those cards and would pick one. And here I'm not 100% sure now if it's really fun to watch if I play one of those players hidden. Does this help you in any way? I don't know. Let's try it. And if you say, I will keep this first episode short anyway, and I will let you vote if you want me to play the red player really hidden, so then I will not show you the cards for the rest of the game, or if you say you don't care, or I want to see, or rather if you really want to see what's going on, because you will see more components this way, I will then play it openly as of the next video. But for today, I will pick one of those cards without letting you know. Sooner or later you will get to know what those are, at least I guess so. So something will happen, but the planning cycle might be a bit, and you might wonder, why are you doing these things, for example? Maybe that's more fun to watch, I don't know. So I've chosen this card here. This was my very first action. And also, unlike the other pirate game, you don't have to roll to whatever for these rumors. It's much easier. And that's why this game is much faster than Merchant and Marauders, I would think, because not a lot of things can go wrong in this game, which is good. I mean, Merchants and Marauders can be frustrating at times. And you're really constantly rolling, miss your roll to scout for merchants out there, for example. This is not going to happen here. You will be able to check those out anyway. Okay, I still have 2 more actions left. Should I actually? Why not? I have chosen this card here with a reason, so I will move. And again, I also have 5 movement points here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Over here to Isla Oscura. And as a free action, I can now reveal the treasure I've chosen, or the treasure rumor, and will place it here onto my treasure board. I'm pretty sure you have wondered what this cool looking treasure map actually does for you. So we are placing 1 marker here on the starting the thing. So we are looking for the silver chandelier. We are at Isla Obscura. We are placing one of those on space number 12. So that's where it tells us here, this is the target. So it's really something that we can achieve relatively easily. In between, we have possibilities to gain resources, but we can also take some damage, like this red die here. But overall, we have to make it here, and then we will acquire this one. We still have 1 more full action, and right now our strength is 3, which means we would be able to move 1, 2, 3 spaces in here. If I would now use my veteran sellsword, oops, let me show that here. They would give me, and it's a she, huh? This might be a she, I don't know. She might give me 1 strength until the end of turn, which also counts for this strength here. So she will push me through, because with this +1, I will land on this space, and then I would be allowed to roll the green die. Of course, I have to spend 100 doubloon, but just for the laughs, let's do that. So I'm going to spend 100 doubloon. So we are hiring that sellsword here. So we are moving now, and with my final action, that's, I need to say, with my final action, I will now really start the treasure hunt, and I will be allowed to move 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces here. My strength is 3 + 1, so that was my final action. We landed on this space. We are rolling the green die, and I really hope the green die gives us more than the white die. Let's see about that. No, that's another blank. Awesome, nicely done. This was the sellsword. It goes back to the deck. We can hire her again without problems. The hiring someone doesn't really take an action. Doesn't cost you anything, only playing those cards. And now I still have the cabin boy, which I could play free. Basically, take 1 resource of your choice, and as a free action, doing a treasure hunt, I can then discard basically this cocoa to move 2 more spaces. But I think in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think in this case it doesn't really help us this round. So I will hold on to the daring cabin boy for now. I don't get anything from that. Yeah, I think we don't need that right now. And maybe there is something else that comes up. And yeah, these were pretty much all our 2 rounds. I think everyone has taken 2 actions. We are here on the treasure hunt. Again, we can even leave Isla Obscura and come back here, and we will still be at that stage. So we are not losing any track. So I'm not tied here to this island. If I, for whatever reason, want to move somewhere else, I'm totally fine to do so, and I can continue, and I can even replace it with another mission. Then yeah, of course, then everything is being reset. But let's say I find something so cool, which I don't care about the silver chandelier here anymore, I could also exchange that relatively easily. But yeah, that was pretty much the very first round. Why not do one more for this video? Because I was really talking way too much and didn't really show you a lot of action. So let's try to remediate that now. So let's move into the next round. We are revealing the next win card here, and we are also revealing the next, or the first event in this case, and that's Royal Amnesty. And this one says you can acquire crew cards on any islands this round. Okay, that's nice. So we don't have to go to the base. So this could be good for both of the players, actually. Oh, I like that. I think that's a good one. But yeah, it's the blue player now with full 3 actions again. And I think for our first action, we want to upgrade our ship. So we need to spend 400 because all of our components are at level 3. And we are going for extending our hull. So we are pretty much tearing this apart now. And then we are putting in yet another disc. I think I have to do this off camera now, because the first time I did that, all those parts were flying through the room actually. So we have now 4 of those wheels, which definitely does help us. And I think with our second action, we are going to buy 4 potions of rum in this case. And again, rum is the yellow one here. So you have to remember that, but I think after you playing this, I don't know, once or twice, it's really not a problem. It's really not difficult, it's just me, I have to bend over here. That's the only reason why it took me some time. So this goes back to the bank, and I still have 1 more action left, and I was thinking, should I now make use out of this? And I believe I already forgotten my haggler ability actually. Wow, that's so bad. Take 200 golds when taking a sell action. Yes, we sold something during the last turn, so I will definitely get 200 doubloons. Yeah, I should not forget that. But yeah, with our last action, should I go for another, or my first crewmate here? Let me have at least a look into the card. Again, you get to choose. So it's not that you are drawing one of those randomly. You choose your crew member. So it's definitely way more plannable than other games. And I guess I have found a crewmate I wanted to hire, and this will be the first mate. And he allows me to either call the sea serpent, which is then a monster, and I can fight her, which can give me a lot of victory points and rewards. But I think the ore ability here is the more powerful one. Move your ship up to 4 spaces. This ends attack against you. So if whatever the red player is going crazy and wants to go after me, I can spend 400 gold points, which I don't have right now, but still I would be able to move myself out of harm's way. Nice. Those were the 3 actions of the blue player. Let's move back to the red player. We are here at Isla Oscura on our treasure hunt, and I think because of that event card, which is simply amazing, I'm going to hire another crew member, and that's the daring cabin boy. So we have 2 of those, which is not a problem. And again, I can pretty much play them at any time, and I think that's what I am going to do. So we are spending both of those, and they allow me to get any resource of my choosing. So I get 2 of those, and because of the treasure card, this tells me if I spend cocoa, I will be able to move my treasure market 2 spaces ahead. And again, I will take 2 of those. So we are moving basically here. So let me show that. So light brown and up. Light brown here. So we have still 2 more actions, right? Yeah, it's 2 more actions actually. We only hired 1. Playing those cards, it's not really something, and this typically goes around in circles. I play a card, some other players could play a card, and this is until everyone passes, but in this case no one wanted to play, and I'm playing against myself. So if I want to do something like that, I will announce accordingly. So I will spend my second action now to move my marker here according to my strength, with which is, oh, did I do that right? Wait a second. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4. Ah, I only moved 3 spaces. Ooh, I didn't pay attention. Ah, it was only a 4 because I had this other guy, which I could still go for my last action. So I still have a second action. I will simply go for a veteran sellsword. I can take those actions in any order. So with my second action, I was going for the veteran sellsword. Then I'm again spending 100 to use the veteran sellsword to up my strength to a 4. And now I'm spending my third action, 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces to move here, and spending those resources here to advance on my treasure hunt is a free action. And again, I can take those any amount of times during my turn. So I will spend my first one of the cocoa here. So this goes down to 0. This will move me 1, 2 spaces. I landed on a green space, so I can roll the green die again. That's at least something. And oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. I think in this case I will get some rum back, actually. I think this is rum. Yes, this is totally rum. So I get 1 rum, which I can sell, for example, later on, or maybe use it for a different treasure hunt. So that's okay. But now I'm spending my second cocoa, which I still have from my second cabin boy here, and you see not 100% sold on those dials here, but this will allow me to move 1, 2 spaces ahead, which now means I have scored this treasure, which means I'm moving it from here to the middle section of the board. So it will give me 1 point at the end of the game. I will be able to sell it for 1100 gold, pretty much as part of a sell action. Anywhere where I can sell stuff, 1100 is really not bad. But I also get an ongoing effect here. As long as I have it on my ship, you can hold up to 4 cards of each type in your hand. And having more crew cards, or whatever of those, what are the others, not the rumors, yeah, whatever, treasure cards and whatnot. So a lot of things that can be very, very helpful. I can also decide to put it into my stash, into my treasure chest. Then no one can take it away from me. It will still score me 100 points, but then I cannot sell it, and I can also not use it special effect. But there's one additional thing, and that's the Tomb Raider here. One of our life goals: hide 3 treasures in your chest. So I really want to put them in my chest. So if I sell it, it's gone. Yeah, it's pretty much out of the game. I will not be able to score it. So in this case, I think I might want to hold on to this until I may decide to stash it away. I think right now the risk is relatively low that Blue will go after me, and if I see him coming after me, I can still stash it into my treasure chest, but then it's good. But if I have 3 of those, again, I will score maybe 10 points or 15 if this was my secret chosen life goal in my treasure chest. Who knows? But yeah, those were the first 2 rounds of my playthrough of Shiver Me Timbers. So far I really like it. I again haven't seen a lot, you haven't seen a lot, but I like where it's going. And I'm really looking forward to continue playing this. But again, I will stop my very first playthrough here. So maybe you're already spotting some things I should play differently, or maybe played completely wrong. If so, let me do. Also, let me know if I should continue playing this red player here a little bit more hidden. Actually, I do think it might be more fun for you to watch. Again, I showed you the cards now for the veteran sellsword and the cabin boy because I was immediately using that for the red player, that is. That was the only reason there. But yeah, I will let you decide. And huge shout out to all of my patrons out there. Really do appreciate all your support. And if you want to support my channel, you will find a link to my page on Patreon in the description of this video. It will pop up during this video sometime. Like and subscribe. That also greatly helps to grow my channel. And yeah, hope to see you soon in one of my other videos. And until then, bye bye.